left his throne to wake as a child. He became like the least of us. Behold him.
A reading from the Gospel of Luke. Now as they went on their way, he entered a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She had a sister named Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to what he was saying. But Martha was distracted by her many tasks, so she came to him and asked, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her then to help me." But the Lord answered her, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and distracted by many things. There is need of only one thing. Mary has chosen the better part, which will not be taken away from her." The word of God for the people of God.
Thank you, John. I got you. So last night, went to see the debut run of Crazy Sexy Cool. When I say that, what does that, like, anybody know what I mean by that? TLC, yes. The debut run of Crazy Sexy Cool, the musical, at Arena Stage. If you did not know, it's in town. It is in town only through August 9th. Telling you now, get a ticket. It was about a year ago, actually, that Chris and I and my sister-in-law, Vicky, Chris's sister, were driving through DC, and we saw the huge billboard for Crazy Sexy Cool. And we're like, I mean, that sounds like a blast, right? Like, who doesn't love the nostalgia of that? You get to sing all your best 90s hits, a little dancing, and I completely underestimated it. Because I know myself, in the busyness of life, I say, that sounds great. I'd love to see it. And then nothing happens. Are you like this? The weeks fill and the calendar bloats, and the thing that I wanted to see, the thing I saw on the billboard that sparked something in me, it became one of good intention, but never makes it off the billboard and onto my calendar. But somehow this time, and I would probably because of Vicky, she does this, somehow this time I followed through and we bought the tickets and we went. I mean, that's rare for us. And I will say, sitting there last night, I realized how rare it's become for me to really behold something. Those singers, those actors, the choreography, the story, the way the music of my youth was woven into this larger human story of friendship and ambition and pain and courage and joy, and it was transcendent, the way they rewrote the songs, the way they weaved them in. And it felt important, and it felt extraordinary. And about partway through the show, I thought to myself, this is special. This is bigger than I had ever imagined. This is gonna be a moment I remember forever. And I'm almost sure it will be on Broadway or tour nationally by next year. So that's why I'm saying y'all better get it now. People will be talking about that show. And I'll be able to say that I was there. I got to behold it in DC on its first run. What a rare gift. We also had fun. You can show that one too. And something about beholding, something about beholding is you buy the t-shirt, right? I bought the t-shirt. There's something about buying a t-shirt to something means I was a beholder last night. And what struck me afterwards is how unusual it felt to be caught up like that, right? Somebody tell us who did it better. I don't know. To not be checking my phone, to not be half distracted, or wondering what else I should be doing, to just simply sit and be present, receiving something that I knew was so much bigger than I had ever imagined it would be. And because I tend to overschedule, it lends itself well to downplay the worth of things around me. I tend to think everything will be okay. I assume it'll be nostalgic, it won't really matter, or never actually follow through, even on the things that I say I want to do or to attend. In other words, how often does my busyness and the sheer number of options I have keep me from really beholding something beautiful? I wonder if this sounds like you too. It's me, because that's what last night was for me. It made me realize how starved I am for that. And it made me hear these scriptures. I had this kind of written and rewrote it. It made me hear these scriptures today about Mary and Martha, about being still and knowing that God is God. It made me see them in a whole fresh new way. Not as calls to do nothing, which we tend to think the answer, the antidote, the opposite of busyness is just doing nothing, sitting, vegging, Sabbath, but that's not what Sabbath ever really means. It's an invitation instead to behold the one thing, the important thing, that is infinitely more worthy than any of the other things that we've filled our calendars with. Ask anyone, how are you, right? And the answer is always, I'm guilty of this, always, we've been busy. It's no longer just an update on our calendar. It's a kind of confession of faith. We say it. I'm busy. Usually means, well, the way I've been living my life, it matters, just in case you didn't think so. I'm in demand. In case you didn't know what's going on in my life, I'm not fine, I'm not well, or I'm not overwhelmed, I'm busy. I'm doing something with my life, in case you didn't know that in this time we haven't seen each other. Otherwise, I'm enough. I've been busy. And David Zoll in Seculosity calls that performacism, right? The belief that what we do is who we are. Our resume isn't part of our identity. It is our identity. Here's the list of things that we've been talking about. Work, I am what I do. Romance, I am who loves me. Parenting, I am how my children end up turning out. Busyness, I am how needed and connected, how packed my calendar is. Politics, I am how right my side is. We're not just busy, we're busy, and we're always browsing for ways to be busier. We just keep our options open as much as we can. We're busy trying to stay versatile. But the opposite of all of that is not doing nothing. The opposite of busyness is not laziness or a blank schedule. And Mary shows us this. And Zoll gives us this kind of cultural x-ray of what happens when we refuse it. Zoll points back in his book to 2014, when the American Psychological Association called it the year of feeling overwhelmed. This is more than a decade ago. Almost half of all Americans reported then, not just being busy, but being overwhelmed. This was across ages, across incomes, across regions. We usually assume that this is a big city problem. Manhattan lawyers, Silicon Valley coders, people in shiny glass buildings. But that's not the picture. Instead, the study showed It's also farmers in North Dakota. It's ranchers in Montana. It's small-town parents trying to hold 3 part-time jobs together. It was an epidemic. We all feel like we're running out of time, running behind, not measuring up, no matter where we live. It doesn't matter where we live. Busyness is seeped into every corner of life, not just urban professional life. Everyone has email now, and text now, and smartphones now. Everyone is online now. Everyone is reachable, and so everyone is interruptible. And everything is interruptible. The attention economy doesn't just live in cities, it lives in our pockets. And what the economy runs on is our perpetual, partial attention. Never long, never deep, never meaningful, never still, never truly beholding anything, always underestimating everything, always giving it half ourselves. Zoll points also to this fascinating study by this woman named Ann Burnett, a communications professor at the University of North Dakota, who spent years collecting and analyzing family Christmas letters. And she noticed a shift over the decades in these letters. Older letters were grateful. Here's what God has done. Here's what the kids are like. Ordinary joys and kind of simple updates. The newer and newer the letters got, they read more like press releases. Every paragraph packed with achievements, travel and sports and music and academics and promotions. Maybe your family writes a letter like this every year and tucks it in a card to update people. I wonder if you were to read those, what you see in them. We're on the go. We're constantly running. It's been a busy year. Very full, very busy. We barely had time to breathe. The subtext is super clear in this, right? Our family is doing a lot. Our lives are so full. We're so important. We're enough. Busyness has become the way we tell the story of our worth. And you can hear Martha in all those letters, can't you? Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me. Underneath Martha's complaint is this cry, I'm doing so much. Doesn't it count? Doesn't it matter? Do I matter? And Jesus answers with this tenderness, Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about so many things. Busy on the outside and worried and upset on the inside. And we might not send Christmas letters, but we post Christmas letter style updates. I'm guilty of this. Instagram captions that talk way more about all the things that make us worthy by the things we've done. This is what we did. This is where we went. Look how full our lives are. Our busyness is not just something we suffer. It's something we perform. Zoll also talks about this documentary, King of Kong, as kind of a parable. If you haven't seen it, it's a film about grown men competing for the world record in the old arcade game, Donkey Kong. Endless hours they put into this thing, mind-boggling levels of focus. All in the name, at the top of a high-score screen. And it's funny until you realize this is all of us. This is what we do. Our lives look like that kind of high-score screen. Who has the most published papers, who has the most followers, who has the happiest looking family, whose vacations look the most epic, who's most likely to succeed at 35 or 45 or 55 or 65. And we live as if there's this kind of cosmic scoreboard everywhere, and we'd better keep our numbers climbing. And so we stay busy. We stay busy. And he highlights this devastating fallout of this system, what's happening among our young people. Take the University of Pennsylvania and what students there call pin face, an expression that says, I'm fine, I'm crushing it, everything's great. While inside, students are anxious and depressed and sometimes suicidal, just walking around with pin face. The New York Times has profiled undergraduates at elite schools, skyrocketing rates of depression, self-harm, or suicide. Students who have more options than any generation around them has ever offered them and are collapsing under the pressure of all the options. They don't know how to give themselves to any one thing. So they give it all, and the world tells them they're supposed to. Why? Because when your worth is tied up in your performance and your versatility and how easygoing you are, you must do everything, be great at everything, keep every option open, never commit. You can't commit deeply to anything then, right? Because that might mean closing off other routes to success, other versions of your best life. And so you major in 3 subjects and join 7 clubs and intern every summer, network relentlessly, and keep your social media pristine while inwardly terrified that a misstep or a no or a closed door or another failure will expose that you are not enough. And this is not just at Ivy Leagues. It's at state schools and community colleges and high schools and middle schools. And Zoll notes that you can be anything. Promise has turned into you can be everything. That's what I heard. You can be anything. Over time, it's turned into you can be everything. Busyness and endless options and fear of committing. And it's this emotional and spiritual breakdown. And in the story in Bethany today, as Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he comes to a village where this woman named Martha opens her home to him. And she has this sister, Mary, who sits at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. And Mary is distracted by all the things, all the preparations that had to be made. And she came to him and asked, Lord, don't you care? Don't you care that I've done all of this? Why don't you tell her to help me? You are worried and upset about so many things, Martha. Mary has chosen what is better and will not be taken away from her. You're distracted by many things. In our world, we might say Martha's attention was constantly being monetized. Our attention is constantly being monetized. It's an economy based on our inattention. Checking recipes on YouTube, glancing at group texts from the church group, sneaking a look at what the neighbor posted about her dinner party, and answering notifications from the Bunko group, and maybe you even following a top 10 ways to host like Jesus, It's a lot. It's a lot for Martha. It's a lot for us. Martha is not just working, she is being pulled apart by this. Completely shredded. Her attention is fragmented, her heart is divided. Jesus doesn't rebuke her, though, for doing anything at all. He just addresses the state of her soul. Notice, he doesn't rebuke. Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset, but so few things are actually needed. Actually, just one. Notice the gentle contrast here from many things to one thing. Scattered to centered. Distracted to beholding. Mary, by contrast, has done something shocking in that culture and in ours. She assumes the posture of a disciple at the rabbi's feet. And she gives Jesus her whole attention, not her half attention. And she assumes Jesus is going to say something that's going to transform her life. She doesn't underestimate it. She doesn't write it off as another cute thing. I've heard he says cute things. She beholds him, his face, his voice, his words. And Jesus says Mary's chosen what's better. Not Mary has chosen to do nothing. Not Mary has given it all up. But Mary has chosen to behold the one thing. And that's precisely what was happening to me last night, in the small way for me. I know it's like crazy, sexy, cool last night was like sitting at the feet of Jesus. For someone like me who has been undervaluing generally everything and feeling ripped apart a little bit. I wasn't multitasking. I wasn't keeping my options open. I was there. And it was surprising and beautiful. Mary's yes to Jesus includes 1,000 unspoken no's too, right? No's to other good, important things that she could have been doing. She's not keeping her options open. She's committing to her attention to the one real thing. If we stop here in this kind of gospel for the over-optioned, over-busy, we stop here, it becomes another burden. You're too busy. You need to rest. You need to behold more. Why aren't you beholding more, folks? But the gospel is not another item for our to-do list. So if you hear any piece of this sermon series as another item for your to-do list, start beholding more, you've heard it wrong. The gospel is not another item for your to-do list. It is news about what God has already done. Before God ever commands, before God says, behold me, he has already beheld you. That's the point. At Jesus' baptism, before any miracles and sermons and accomplishments, the Father simply says, you are my beloved Son, and I'm pleased by you. Hear the same kind of formula as what Jesus says to Martha. You're distracted by a lot of things. All I really want is the one. It's not a rebuke. It's not, I'll be pleased once you launch this new beholding phase of your life. It's, I delight in you. And so I hope that you'll let that verdict kind of cover you. Not when you declutter your calendar, or not when you master prayer quietly in your quiet chair. Not when you choose the perfect career path, or stop over hover parenting. But now, while you are still busy, while you are distracted by many things, and you're browsing, and you're probably burnt out, God's gaze is steady on you. It's a loving gaze, and it's not performance-based. And the cross is where Jesus takes on our entire religion of enoughness through busyness, our striving, our failing, our shame, our terror of not measuring up. And it just strips all the options away, and it's just nailed. Jesus is nailed in one place. There's nowhere else he can be, and bears the burden not enough for us. And then the resurrection is God tearing up the scoreboard and saying, the game that's been killing you, that's been ripping you apart, I never asked you to play. So when Jesus invites you, like Mary, to sit at his feet and behold him, he's not saying, prove you can be spiritual enough to sit still. He's saying, come and rest. Just come and rest. We behold the one who first beheld us. last night at the show, I was reminded of this during this one song, this gorgeous song. I had never heard it before, and it was a song that apparently TLC was known for, but one of the lesser-known songs in the show was called Dear Lie, and it comes out of this deep personal pain. It was including, if you know anything about their struggles, Left Eye's struggles with mental health and truth-telling, and the lyrics are kind of this confrontation with the voice that distorts reality for us. Dear lie, you suck. That's the lyrics. You said you could fix anything. Instead, I'm lying here on the floor. And then she just repeats over and over again, dear lie, no more. Dear lie, no more. It's a person writing an open letter to the lies that have ruled them, named them, renouncing them, refusing to be dictated by them. And all the while being reminded that you're held. And it struck me in our culture, busyness, browsing have their own kind of dear lie behind them, right? The lie goes something like this: if you stay busy, you'll be safe. If you keep enough options open, you'll never be disappointed. If you never commit, no one will ever expect anything of you. If you're always productive and always versatile, you'll finally be enough. But all the studies show differently. We're overwhelmed. We're anxious. We are lonelier than ever. None of those things, they're all lies. Our young people are breaking under the weight of it all. And the gospel gives us permission and power to say that because of Jesus, we no longer need the lie. The lie of busyness to justify us, the lie of anything. If it's romance is your thing, you need the lie that if you just find the right relationship, you'll be saved. If you've given every bit of your energy and your focus to politics and you just believe the lie, that so long as you believe the right thing, the good thing, the thing they don't believe, you'll be saved. You no longer need the lie. Dear lie, you suck. Might be not that liturgical language, I get that. But the sentiment is deeply biblical, renouncing false gods, false saviors, false sources of enoughness. And Jesus ends this conversation with Martha with this promise for you and me. Mary has chosen what is better, and it's not going to be taken away from her. You notice that part? It's a promise. It's not going to be taken away from you. You can lose your career, you can lose your mobility, you can lose your mental sharpness, you can lose your income, you can lose your packed calendar, you can lose your friends, your options, all of it. But what you receive when you behold Christ and his love and his presence, it cannot be taken away from you. It's what makes this place wholly different. It's a place of beholding. If you have come here and you haven't beheld God, I honestly feel for you. It's a place where you should walk away, feel like you've done something more important than whatever else was on your calendar in the week. Because God is our refuge, right? It's supposed to be this place of refuge. He's the one who says, come to me, all who are weary, who are distracted by all these things. Come here, come rest. Not come to me, all who have finally decluttered your lives, but all who are weary. We live in this world where busy is the new virtue, and browsing is the new praying. And burnout is the new normal. And our attention is for sale to anyone. And our calendars preach, And our options promise freedom and deliverance. And I don't know if you heard it this morning in our songs, but the God we know, the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the one who is here for us today and always, says, "Be still and know that I am God." And if you do this, I promise you it won't be taken away from you. The band comes forward. Let's pray.